5,300 files with references to Trump.
She was going to give you the medicine without you knowing.
He got banned off of Xbox Live.
It is not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein.
I think it's really time to get onto something else.
Guys, I think Trump might be in the Epstein files. Is it too soon to call it? I think I just need to see his name 5,000 more times. The most horrific release happened this weekend. Melania dropped, and they released 3.5 million pages of Epstein files. 3.5 million pages, and it was all fucking horrible. All fucking horrible. Let's look at the bright side first. At least America read a little bit this weekend, you know? Finally got America to read, like a little bit. Like, you've never heard that in the history of America. It's like, you want to read this new book? Like, I think I'm good. How long is it? 3.5 million pages. And then Sunday rolls around, you're like, yeah, I'm done. I didn't read all 3.5. I'm still on page 1. I don't know if you guys know the ending, but you really got to give props to Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie for pushing for the Epstein files to be released to the public. Because no one else in Congress was doing it. So, you know, at least we know for sure there's 2 Congress people who are not pedophiles. We know that for sure. For sure. It's probably just 2, to be honest. I don't know if it gets any more than that, but that's how low the bar is for politicians in America now. Like, seriously, your slogan could just be like, not a pedophile. Be like, vote. Because all of Trump's team, they try to block it every single time. I call them his pedophile cabinet. All these people who are now proven to be liars. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino. These motherfuckers were lying to us the whole fucking time. They were like, oh yeah, I saw the Epstein files. Yeah, we're gonna release them. We're gonna release them. And they're like, yeah, when? They're like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And then we're like, what? And they're like, well, I don't know where they went. There was no. And then they're like, well, there was nothing in them anyway. So you said they f***ing read them, right? And then they released all this shit. And it's like, oh, so you've been lying this whole time just to keep your job. Just to keep your job. And it's like, damn, that's how hard the job market is right now. You're like, man, if I get fired from Attorney General, I don't even know if I'll get a job at Wendy's. I don't know. But yeah, these motherfuckers. Yeah, these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers. Yeah. Kash Patel, who looks like Aziz Ansari's tweaked out Jack cousin. Lied, dude. He lied about all that shit. He lied. He went on Rogan, he lied. He's like, it looks like a suicide when you see, he sniffed. I was like, what the f*** is that sniff? Yeah, nothing in there. He said something like, there was no evidence that people were being trafficked. It's like, bro, I'm only on page 1 and I see that shit. The f*** you talking about? And then Bondi and Bongino, which sounds like an Italian law firm. Those motherfuckers lied. Pam Bondi was like, I had the Epstein files on my desk. And then a couple months later, she's like, I don't even have a desk. What are you guys talking about? It's scary. I get it. And I understand a lot of people are very scared. But if it's your first day learning that the government is evil, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We have a support group in here. Come on, join us. I've been here since 2001, motherfucker. Since 2001. Literally, never forget 9/11 because that was the day. I got into politics after 9/11. Yeah, because it affected my entire career because 9/11 happened my senior year of high school. Not only was I was legitimately afraid of actual terrorist attacks. That's what they trained me to believe. And I was also afraid of racial profiling. I was double scared. And so when I chose my career, I wanted to do something indoors. Just to be safe. Isn't that crazy? 9/11 gave me an inside job. But yeah, there's no turning back. There's no turning back once you learn the government's evil, man. And all these motherfuckers are evil. If you look at the news cycle the last few weeks, it's been moving so fast. The reason being is they're trying to keep our minds distracted and racing. And then finally they drop these Epstein files and they're going to go on to the next thing. Like within a couple days, I'm talking about this now, within a couple days, it's going to be Iran again. It's going to be Iran again. And Iran's a very important issue and we should be paying attention to it. But that's their goal. Their goal is to keep the goalposts moving so that we keep forgetting. But this drop was different because it was a lot of fucking pages. It was a lot of fucking pages. Did you know the FBI has 8 terabytes of evidence on Epstein? 8 terabytes. That's like 4 hard drives. 8 if you're poor. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of data. Okay? And they have 8 terabytes, and when they first released it, they redacted about 1/8 of it. So do the math. That's about a terabyte of redactions. Yeah. That's a pterodactyl. That's what that is. Gotta find the joy somewhere, guys. Come on. So fucking. Don't make me use my eyes. That's a pterodactyl. They made a drop over the holidays. I don't know if you remember that, around Christmas time. They always try to drop it when they think that we won't be paying attention. They dropped it during Christmas. They're like, oh, they'll never notice this. They're too busy loving their families. Joke's on it, we fucking hate them. Or they always try to drop it on a Friday. They dropped it on a Friday last week because they're like, oh, they're gonna be having too much fun with the weekend. Little do they know we're depressed and chronically online. Watching every TikTok that comes forth. R.I.P. R.I.P. TikTok, you're done. It's fucking up-scrolled for life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get on Upscrolled if you haven't. It's a Palestinian-owned social media app. It's called Upscrolled, and it basically looks just like Twitter, except it's owned by somebody who's not in the Epstein files. So we got that. We got that going. When they initially released some of the Epstein files, they tried to redact a bunch of it by putting black rectangles over essential information, right? And they said it was to protect the victims, but we know they blurred out a lot more. And the reason why is because we read what was underneath. Because these fucking idiots in our government didn't even realize that you could just copy paste everything directly from the doc and paste it into your own doc and see everything under the black rectangles. Mind you, and this was discovered by a software engineer from India. Yeah. This is why they don't want immigrants, okay? This is why they don't want immigrants, because they know dirty little secrets like copy paste. These fucking idiots, man, these idiots at the DOJ or whoever the fuck is running the show, they try to put a disclaimer. They're like, well, this may or may not be true. Shut the fuck up. We know what you're doing. You're just making us believe you even less. Yeah. These fucking idiots, I don't know. It's like clearly they don't have anyone Gen Z on their team who has any former work experience or knows anything about tech, you know? Like, ever since they kicked out Elon. Like, they have fucking nothing. They got rid of Doge, but they got Doge with a J, you know what I mean? And these fucking idiots, okay? So we know the DOJ's goal, we know the government's goal was to get our minds off of Trump being a pedophile, and they did this by releasing the Epstein documents as PDF files. PDF files are the pedophiles of documents. Do you understand? PDF file is the literal Gen Z slang for pedophile. That's what they say. They're like, you're a PDF file, 6 to 7. That's what they say. That's what they say. They released them as PDF files. You could have used any other doc. You could have used a different kind of Adobe, a DocX, a Word, not Microsoft because Bill Gates was there, but something to get our minds off. Some stuff is still redacted, but this time there was so much more information. And I'm gonna go through most of what I know. I had to watch a lot of fucking reels. Okay. I admit, I didn't read those 3.5 million pages. I probably watched 3.5 million reels at this point. I watched them all on 1.75x. I was going in. There was a lot of people on Epstein Island. A lot of people were on Epstein Island. Michael Jackson was there, because it doesn't matter if you're black or white. Bill Clinton was there, but he's going to testify and be like, I didn't inhale. Mick Jagger was there, but maybe he couldn't get no satisfaction. This one hurts for the comedians. Chris Tucker was there. Yeah. But in his defense, it was Friday. He didn't have no job, and he didn't have shit to do. And he left really quickly. It was rush hour. He had to see Jackie Chan. Jay-Z is in the Epstein files. Now he's got 100 problems. That's crazy. As to Jay-Z was allegedly there when a specific crime was committed. He's there in the documents. Hasn't made a response yet. Pusha T was there, but I wasn't a fan, and neither were you probably, so it's fine. No, there's not a lot of Pusha T fans out there. You rarely hear like, who's your Mount Rushmore in hip hop? Oh, Pusha T. Well, sure, it's Pusha T, right up there with Vanilla Ice. And William Hung, you know what I mean? Like the goats. The fucking goats. Yeah, so Pusha T's in there, Jay's in there, Jay-Z is in there. So you know it was a good weekend for Drake. Okay. He's got rivalries with both of those guys. Yeah, so Drake he had some legendary beef with Pusha T some years ago. It was at a point where they were supposed to be rapping, but then it just turned into insults. So that's how it got really ugly. And then Drake and Jay-Z had a falling out in the last few years because I forget exactly what happened, but Jay-Z was supposed to sign Drake for something or somebody he knew. I'm not the best person for hip hop inside information, but I do know that Drake and Jay-Z were not on the best terms. And specifically, Jay-Z had some kind of chip on his shoulder against Drake, and vice versa. And that's why a year ago, Jay-Z helped get Kendrick booked for the Super Bowl. Because I don't know if you know this, Jay-Z books a Super Bowl because you got to be a pedophile apparently. And allegedly, Hove. So allegedly, okay, so Jay-Z basically books the Super Bowl now, and he booked Kendrick last year specifically because he knew Kendrick was gonna come out and perform They Not Like Us, which is the most popular diss track ever made, and it's specifically about Drake. And so, yeah, and I don't know if you saw that Super Bowl last year, and he comes out, and the whole crowd says, it's his famous line where he's like, A minor. The whole fucking crowd does it. Drake is scarred for life, right? And listen, I don't know exactly, because if you Google what did Drake do, there's no evidence that he engaged with a minor. It's kind of just rumors, and maybe some pictures, but there's no evidence that he did anything, explicit with a minor. I don't know what the case is. I mean, I think all rich people are creepy anyways, right? Yes. Yes, that's why I only perform at bars, okay? So I don't know the severity of the allegations and what's true about Drake, but obviously when you juxtapose it to the things in the Epstein files, Drake looks like a f***ing saint, okay? You know what I mean? So Drake's been hurting for a literal year now after that supreme embarrassment at the fucking Super Bowl when Kendrick looked in the camera and was like, you like them young. Dude, crazy. He will never recover from that. But this weekend's drop, I think he saw that and he was like, God's plan, God's plan, God's plan. You know he was so happy to see Pusha T and Jay-Z in the files. He probably, for the first time ever, turned on Kendrick's song. He's like, A minor! You. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is in the Epstein files. Yeah. That was the thing where it's like, you probably should have checked before you opened your mouth, huh? Because Elon was the one who brought this whole thing up. And I'm glad he did. I'm glad that he didn't know he was in the Epstein files. For some reason, thought that they weren't going to track Jeffrey Epstein's many emails to Elon Musk. And so yeah, because Elon was the one who brought it up. It was like almost a year ago when Elon had his falling out with Trump. Because Trump liked the big beautiful bill. He's like, I don't like the big beautiful bill. It's not beautiful. And Trump's like, it's so beautiful. It's just a beautiful bill. And they had a falling out, Yeah, and he couldn't bring his 10 kids in the Oval Office anymore. And then he went home one night and he just started making these unhinged tweets on his own app. And then one of the tweets was like, here's a bombshell. Trump's in the Epstein files. That's why he doesn't want them released. And that tweet was f***ing awesome. That was my favorite Elon tweet ever. I mean, that was some true detective work. Might I even say activism? I would even say a little bit of political activism from Elon Musk. Because it opened up the discussion, because we weren't talking about the Epstein files enough before that, and they dropped that knowledge. But for anybody who's been looking at pictures, you already knew that shit anyways. But he reignited it and basically turned it into a movement and basically made more people demand the Epstein files. And really, it had that kind of avalanche effect. And that's why, in the end, people finally demanded it. And then, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie did the thing and got the Epstein files released. So you really do got to give credit to Elon for doing so many drugs that he totally forgot what actually happened with him and Epstein. Because Elon's story was, he was like, oh, he asked me to come to the island so many times. He wanted me to go to the island so bad. He was like, I want you to come to the island. I was like, I'm not coming to the island. I'm too busy making rockets. I'm too busy making electric cars. I don't need to go to your stupid little island. That's what I said to him. I said, I'm not going to the island. I'm not going to the island. I'm from South Africa. I came here on a visa, okay? For the American dream of apartheid. So I came here to make rockets and tunnels and Starlink. And Epstein was like, I want you, please, come to my island, please, come to. I was like, no, I'm too cool for your island anyways. I do mushrooms. I do mushrooms and ketamine. Yes, I don't need your stupid island. I'll fucking buy my own island. I already own the whole island called the United States of America. I already own it. So yeah, he wanted me to come to the island and I said no. Right? That was his story. He said it many times. He said it for many years. Epstein begged me to come to the island. I said no. The Epstein files drop. It's like 10 emails. So when are you going to let me come to the island? Hey, Jeffrey, just checking in again. Is there still room available at the island? I've heard so many great things about your island. I would like to come. I'm actually flying to the nearby island. I'm flying to the Virgin Islands. I'm flying. I land at I land at 3 p.m. You bring me to your island. Okay? Dude, and it's like there's specific emails where he's literally begging Epstein to come to the island. And it's not even in an excusable way. Because you could maybe still make the argument that it's like, okay, maybe there was a time where he was interested in the island until he learned about it. But there was email, I think as late as 2013, when he was emailing Epstein and he was like, I hear you have some wild parties on the island. Yeah, He was like, what? He's like, what? I want to go to the wildest party. The wildest one. Dude, he emailed Epstein. He emailed Jeffrey Epstein on Christmas Day at 6 a.m. saying, I need a vacation, but not I don't want like a peaceful island vacation. Yeah, bro, that's irredeemable. And now he's saying, I think my words were misconstrued. No, motherfucker. You literally said you wanted a not peaceful island vacation. That's Epstein Island. That's what that is. You detailed that exactly. Okay, you want a not peaceful island vacation? Go on a f***ing cruise, okay? Go on a f***ing cruise like regular people who hate themselves. And he was gonna bring his wife too. He's like, me and my wife here, I call her number 7. We're gonna come to the island. He lied about, his story was that Epstein was begging him and that he said no, when really it was him begging to go to the island. And the emails from Jeffrey Epstein were just like, sure, yeah, sure, for you, sure. But then they never did it. So it's like clearly Epstein ghosted him at some point. That's gotta hurt, dude. When you get ghosted by the fucking most evil pedophile sex trafficker in the world, won't even respond to your emails, and you invented Starlink. Oh, that's gotta hurt, dude. That's gotta hurt. Also, he also lied when he was like, yeah, Epstein liked my work, but you know, we never hung out or anything. I never gave him the tour of SpaceX. And then an email came out in the files, was like, thanks for the tour of SpaceX, that was so fun. Like, you didn't think that was gonna come back? Did you not check your own emails? Let this be a lesson, kids. Ketamine affects your memory. Ketamine affects your memory. But alas, you know, it's great that Elon does ketamine because he miraculously forgot. And this is how you see, like, the story arc actually makes a lot of sense. Because for years he's like, please let me come to the island. Please, I want to come to the island. Jeffrey Epstein's like, yeah, we'll see about that. No, please, I want to come to the island so bad. I want the wildest party. Bring me to the island. Yeah, sure. Please come. Please. Jeffrey Epstein probably was like, sorry, there's no room for you today. Then years ago, he's just boiling. His blood's boiling. He's like, Trump got to go to the island. Trump was friend. Trump got to go all to the parties. I never got to go all the parties. Oh, Trump wants to be my friend. Trump's my friend. Oh, Trump's my friend. Oh, Trump's my friend. Oh, Trump, you don't want to be my friend anymore? You don't want to be my friend. He got to go to all the parties. Trump's in the Epstein files! So yeah, sometimes things work out, you know? Former Prince Andrew. He's like the inverse of Prince, the artist. You know what I mean? Like, the artist formerly known as Prince. So is Andrew. I don't... Right, that's funny. Why are only they laughing, by the way? I don't know. You notice that I'm looking at them because they're the only ones giving me feedback. I swear to God, like only 10% of this room is laughing. And I'm gonna go home tonight and be like, why the f weren't they laughing? Then I'm gonna read the 3.5 million pages and be like, oh, they were all in the Epstein files too. These motherfuckers. That's what it was. Of course they didn't want to laugh because they didn't want to implicate themselves. Statistically, if you were the government, 90% of you there were in the Epstein files. Well, that's the f***ing scary thing. It's just like, they're all in it. They're all in it. Zohran Mamdani's mom is in the Epstein files. Not Mommy Donnie. Mommy Donnie. No. Well, it was nice while it lasted, guys. It was nice while it lasted. Yeah, well, you know, it's all one club, right? So Mira Nair, Zohran Mamdani's mom, she's a film director, and she had a I guess, a very popular, or like a big release in, I believe, 2009. And Bill Clinton was invited. I don't know if he went. And I guess Epstein was invited. We all make mistakes, okay? At least she wasn't on the island, okay? Yeah, the fact that there's a connection between Zohran Mamdani to the Epstein files through his family is definitely appalling. It's definitely something that tells you, like, yes, all these elite motherfuckers are connected. And at that point, theoretically, she could have known about his charges. It was at the point where Epstein already had a record, but not the record that we knew post 2018. So it's not like she invited him in 2021. You know what I mean? So it's not the worst thing, but just the fact that she had his email shows that it's all one big fucking club and they're all somehow connected. But the funny thing is, a lot of people made AI photos. These were legit funny. I don't care what you think, okay? They made AI photos of Zoran's mom holding baby Zoran, standing with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein on an island with fucking palm trees in the back. And all of the Republicans in the world were fucking showing this. See, your savior was there on the island. It's like, bro, this is so fucking clearly AI. You can see that the backdrop looks different, like right above her head. It's just funny that people actually thought that would be like that Zohran Mamdani's mom took baby Zoran to Epstein Island. She's like, can I bring my baby? Is that okay? They're like, of course, come pose with this picture with Bill. I mean, if that was true, which it's not, but if that was true, Zoran would have been a record setter. He would have been the youngest person on Epstein Island, like ever. Shut up. You make that shit funny, okay? It doesn't mean Zoran's evil, okay? I don't think Zoran knew, okay? I don't think Zoran knew Uncle Epstein. Then there was rumors going around the internet that Epstein might be his father, okay? Theoretically, it is possible, okay? Let's not forget that let's not pretend that it's not possible, but like, I don't know, you hold up a picture of them, I just don't see it. Cause Epstein, she was too old for him. We know that Zoran is not Jeffrey Epstein's son because Mira Nair was over 18 at the time. So she made the fucking joke. I just took it. The Prince Andrew is just dark, dude. And like this just shows you how dumb Prince Andrew is. Aside from just being evil and disgusting, like clearly the whole Epstein thing was a honeypot operation trying to trap rich, powerful people, hoping that they would have a moment of being dumb, like Epstein, like Elon in his emails. But like Prince Andrew was just like dumb the whole fucking time. Cause he's in every fucking picture just chilling. He's like, oh, girl? Okay, yeah, And then there's a picture of him on all fours, hovering over what appears to be a body of a woman. Now, this is obviously with these stories of like there was torture and killings, all fucking horrible, could very likely be true. And so then you see this picture of him and it does not fucking look good. And you can just tell what kind of person Prince Andrew is by the look on his face. You have this woman laying probably unconscious on the floor and he's there like, huh? Like no severity, no like heightened sense of urgency in his face. Now, I don't think she's dead in the picture because there's like 3 pictures and one of them her arm is raised. So let's hope she's still alive wherever she is. But I'm now having nightmares, like where I'm waking up in the middle of the night and Prince Andrew's above me. I will never unsee that shit. Absolutely disgusting. So yes, that's why he's a former prince. Not to say that the rest of them aren't also pedos, but or as they say in the UK, he's a pedophile. They say pedophile in the UK. I didn't know that. I went to the UK. I did a joke about pedophiles. and a guy came up to me, because I was doing jokes about the school shootings that were happening all the time in America. And I made the joke like, yeah, you know, if we want to stop the school shootings, maybe we should get the pedophiles to watch the schools because they actually care about the kids, right? And it's a good idea. It's a good idea. And I made that joke in the UK, and the guy came up to me after, he's like, are you a pedophile? I was like, what? I didn't know that's how they pronounce it. He's like, are you a pedophile? I thought he was talking about pita the bread. Because I also talked about being Arab, so I was like, guilty. I'm a huge pedophile. I'm a pedophile, I'm a hummus-phile, I'm a Baba Ganoush-phile. There is email correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and Peter Thiel. Who would have thought the devil talks to the Antichrist? It's all one big club, I'm telling you. There's a voice recording in the files where Epstein is talking to former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and he's explaining to him what Palantir is. This is the foundation of it all. Because I don't know if you know this, Israel, they use Palantir for like spyware, all of their testing that they do in Palestine, and just the evil manipulation of human beings via tech that they're just getting started with. That's through Palantir and Peter Thiel. And you hear this conversation where Jeffrey Epstein's talking to Ehud Barak, who's also like the dumbest of the dumbs. Because Ehud Barak is the former Prime Minister of Israel, and he used to live at Epstein's house. And there's like videos and photos of him walking up to Epstein's apartment in New York City with a mask on, like we can't see that it's him. And he's in a bunch of pictures, so this guy's a idiot. And so he's on the phone with Epstein, and Epstein's like, yeah, so there's this organization. He's like, Peter Thiel has this company called Palantir, and Ehud is like, what? The Palantir. He's like writing it down. He's like, yes, Palantir, and they make like spyware. And he goes, oh, no, tell me spy, and then so he's like writing it all down, and the next thing you know, they just integrate that shit into their system. So yeah, we all saw how that happened. Jeffrey Epstein's voice is like not what you'd think it would be for some reason. Because you see pictures of Jeffrey Epstein, you think like, oh, maybe this guy comes off as somebody who has social skills. Because that's what they all said. They're like, he always impressed people. He was such a social guy. And then he talks like, well, the stock market is kind of weird. He's got a low voice and just like, yeah, he just looks like, because let's face it, the guy's a fucking sex addict, right? He's doing all this sexual deviancy like multiple times a day. Fucking drained his brain, dude. He's literally like, there was an interview with him. They're like, do you consider yourself the devil? He's like, well, I have a meal. Like, what the are you talking about? Fucking psychopath. I don't know if you know this. Jeffrey Epstein started as a math teacher, okay? Yes, as a former math teacher, we don't claim him. We don't claim him. He majored in math, but the creepiest math. He majored in physiological math. That's like the math of the human body. No. If you see someone majoring in physiological math, flag that person, okay? That person is a threat to society. Yeah, so Jeffrey Epstein was a math major, which makes it even more creepy for some reason. Because it's like, you know what I mean? He'll be like, oh, I didn't know their age. Like, you can count, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, don't. Jeffrey Epstein was also a physics teacher. Yeah, which is the creepiest kind of teacher, I'm convinced at this point. They might get a little physical, if you know what I mean. And at my high school, 3 physics teachers were actually released for being sex offenders. So now I got a conspiracy theory, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not saying all physics teachers are creeps. I'm not saying they all force themselves on people. I'm just saying they mass times acceleration themselves on people. It's a strong conspiracy. It's gaining momentum. I don't think you understand the gravity of what I'm saying. Maybe it's the mechanics of the jokes. I don't know. It's all relative. But it does matter. Some of you are vibing with me, some of you want more chemistry. Thank you. Longevity doctor Peter Attia is in the Epstein files. Yeah, this is a lesser known one to the people not in the bro health circuit. But Pete, is he here? Is he cutting my mic? So Peter Attia is a doctor, and he's written some books. He's like an expert in health, and he's very like vocal. He has like podcasts. He's, podcasts with Andrew Huberman. He's been on Rogan, all that stuff. And I used to follow him until this weekend. Because it looks really bad for him. Because he was not just like a guy who like went to the island or hung out with Epstein. He was Jeffrey Epstein's longevity doctor. Meaning he was coaching and giving advice to Jeffrey Epstein to help him live longer and do more sex offenses, you know what I mean? Like, that's like the guiltiest thing. Like, can you imagine if you were the person who was keeping the devil alive? That's like one of the worst possible crimes you can have. But I kind of saw this coming because I've been following him for a few years now. I saw him on Andrew Huberman some years ago, and I was like, oh, this guy has some interesting stuff, and he has a lot of good insight on health and exercise and nutrition. And then one day, he just randomly posted a picture with him and some of his friends, and one of his friends was Kevin Spacey. And they had just like played poker. He's like, dude, poker night was amazing with me and my boy Kevin Spacey. And all the comments were like, what the f*** is wrong with you? And he never acknowledged a single comment. And so I watched every post he made for like the next, 10 days, and everybody's like, yeah, but what about f***ing Kevin Spacey? He's like, you should always keep your sodium level down, but they're like, yeah, but what about f***ing Kevin Spacey? I still followed him though for many years. I was like, I'll forgive you for a Spacey, but not if you're f***ing Epstein's longevity coach. That's where I had to get out the game, dude. He did not do a good job. Well, or did he? Or did he? Because like, it's did he or did he, right? But, or Exhibit A, did he? No, but that's the thing. We don't know if Epstein's dead or not. I don't think he is, to be honest. I think he probably is alive, thanks to Peter Attia. Ever since they faked my death in that prison cell, I've been really focusing on my ketones, Here's a fun fact about Jeffrey Epstein. Never a thing anybody should say. I don't know if you know this, but Jeffrey Epstein went gray really early in his life, but he never used hair coloring product. Yeah, which I'm not praising the guy at all, but that does take a level of confidence to not color your hair at all, especially hanging out with all those young people. But, he could have. He could have reached for the Just for Men's, but he never did. Never used it once. So you could say he never died. Yeah. He's still alive and has gray hair. That's another thing. That's another thing about the Epstein files. This was from the previous Epstein files drop in December, but one of the things they tried to redact in the Epstein files was the report on the security guard who fell asleep the night that Epstein hung himself. Okay, it's like he had one f***ing job, dude. To not fall asleep for those same 10 minutes that the cameras went out. Apparently they fell asleep too. Must have been a very sleepy vibe at that prison that night, because the cameras were like, the security guy was like, and then Jeffrey Epstein's like, this is my chance. I know origami. Yeah, so clearly, like if you weren't already suspicious that Jeffrey Epstein didn't hang himself, this is your key. This is your cue, right? Because, first of all, it's already fucking weird that the security guard fell asleep the same 10 minutes that the cameras went off, the exact same time that Epstein planned to hang himself. And if that's not weird enough, then they try to redact it in the files so that we don't see their fake-ass report. Because if they really wanted to try to convince us, they could have played it off. They could have been like, listen, it was midnight, okay? Don't you get a little sleepy at midnight? I'd be like, I do get sleepy at midnight, you know, because if I was, you know, if I was running, you know, if I was working at a prison, I would probably get very tired, you know, at midnight. So I understand that. So yeah, so they could have just been like, he was very sleepy, or, you know, don't you understand that like being a security guard is a very depressing job? You know, so he was just very depressed. You know, but now that you covered it up, we're like, that motherfucker was a secret agent for sure. So no matter what the narrative is, we know for sure that this security guard was just really tired of being Mossad. By the way, Jeffrey Epstein is Mossad. Don't fucking let anybody try to convince you that that's a conspiracy theory. He's fucking Mossad. And if you don't even need proof, just know that he told people he was Mossad. Maybe that was a fucking clue. And then there's an email in the files where he's like, whatever you do, don't tell him I'm Mossad. Fucking said that. But yeah, so he's Mossad. I mean, like, he had so many connections to Israel. Ehud Barak lived at his fucking house for 5 years. He wore a sweatshirt that said, I love the IDF in private. Who the f*** does that? He made his money via Les Wexner, who was a big Zionist, and also made a bunch of money when he partnered with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a known Mossad asset, who died mysteriously one night, fell off his yacht of natural causes. The security guards were asleep that night too, I don't know what to say. Epidemic of sleepiness going around. And so yeah, so he's Mossad. You don't need to tiptoe around that shit, because people are gonna, the media is not touching that aspect. The media is too fucking scared. The media is too fucking pussy to even mention Epstein's connections to Israel. And it's not even like, oh, you're afraid of getting in trouble. It's like, dude, you're doing an injustice to the fucking people of the world. You're doing an injustice to everybody who's involved in this shit, because everybody's like, oh, you this pervert ran this sex trafficking ring. Why? Ask yourself, why the did he run it? Why were these people there? What was happening? And the answer comes back to, it was an intel operation to basically gather leverage on very powerful people. But who wanted this leverage? Jeffrey Epstein, the former physics teacher? No, he was working for somebody, okay? And all signs point to Mossad, okay? All signs point to Israel. And if you're a journalist in this age of the Epstein release and you're not mentioning the implications, if even just looking at what we know about them, you're a fucking pussy, and you're doing injustice to the world by not sharing the truth, okay? The fact. It's a fact. Do you think I like blaming Israel for everything? No. I only do it when they're involved, and unfortunately that's all the time. I don't like doing it. I don't like fucking doing it. Okay? People like, you hate Israel. No, I actually don't hate Israel. I actually just feel very bad for them. I feel very bad for Israel. I think Israel's blind. I do. They can't cease fire. Anyways, yes. Epstein was a Mossad asset. You don't got to fucking tiptoe around this. And then you see, so in the files, there's one that says the FBI has confirmed that Trump is compromised by Israel. You don't say. Yeah, I'm like, really? Well, this is news to me. Oh, maybe I didn't see it when he fucking pushed in the chair for Netanyahu, or when he said, I love Israel a fucking million times. Obviously, he's fucking compromised by Israel. When are you gonna mention the part that our whole fucking government is compromised by Israel? When are you gonna mention that part? When are you gonna mention that part? But yes, Trump is a little extra compromised by Israel. That's for sure. You know, so there's a bunch of links to Epstein and Mossad in the files, and then there's a lot of instances where he's calling people goyim. I don't know if you guys know. So goyim is a term to is to refer to people who are not Jewish. However, I do believe that there is a derogatory slant to the word itself, because especially the way that Epstein is using it in those files. It's like not nice. He's like, we got some goyim here. We got some goyim present on the island. Or when Kevin Spacey was there, he's like, gayim, we got some gayim. But yeah, so goyim, the word goyim is used a lot. Pizza is mentioned in the Epstein files 911 times. Yeah, you don't have to cheer for it, it's fine. 911 times, never forget, 911 times. And spoiler alert, I don't think they like pizza that much. So they mention pizza, and they use it in a very weird way. They're like, oh, you want to go get some pizza? And it's like wink, wink. And so they say this a bunch of times. They're like, go get him some pizza. They say pizza, and then they use grape soda too, which is weird. That's how you know, because like pizza, it's like maybe they just loved ordering pizza, but then they're like grape soda. Like who the yeah. We know they weren't talking about grape soda because there was not black people on the island, but I had to make that joke. You. So it's a cultural stereotype, but seriously, white people don't drink grape soda. So if you ever hear a white person say grape soda, they're a pedophile. They're a pedophile. Which, I mean, that was actually a great, it was a racist and great thing to learn that it was either like hardly any black people were on Epstein Island, and specifically like Epstein did not bring black women to the island, which is just a deep level of racism, but also saving grace for black women. So, happy Black History Month. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's just acknowledge that. But yeah, they mention pizza so many times, and so you just read that shit like in utter disgust, and also like I'm kind of hungry, but. Jeffrey Epstein said Bill Gates got an STD from Russian women and asked him to sneak his wife medicine. Yeah, I heard that. I was like, word? Kind of a power play, or PowerPoint, I should say. Sorry, I thought I excelled in this. So in an email, Jeffrey Epstein said there was a time when Bill Gates got an STD from some Russians, okay? I don't know the age of these women. I don't know if they were like escorts, prostitutes, or if they were underage women. I don't know. I don't know if we should do them any justice by assuming the best. So we just know it was Russians. That's what we know. We don't know how many of them there were. We just know that when you open one up, there's another one inside. Sorry. But it's gross. It's definitely gross. Bill Gates got an STD, and I'm not going to tell you which one, but please clap. Good. He needed to take antibiotics, and he took the antibiotics, but then apparently he gave it to his wife, Melinda, and he was worried about her having symptoms, so who do you call? Jeffrey Epstein. Dr. Epstein. What? Like, this is who you're going to for health advice? It's trickling down from Peter Attia. Look, he said, this is the email specifically said, Bill Gates asked me to surreptitiously give his wife medicine. So we all learned a new word, surreptitiously. I will never see that word in any other context. Surreptitiously to mean secretly do it. And so he wants, that shows you the relationship with Bill Gates and his wife, where he's like, well, I can't give it to her. So obviously, who will she trust to give her medicine? Jeffrey Epstein. What is he gonna invite Jeffrey Epstein? He comes over, he's like, airplane coming in. Come on, open. That's surreptitious. Speaking of which, you ever done the airplane with a child? Yeah, right? and then you miss, and it's like 9/11, but then the explosives go off at the next. Honestly, this reminds me of the time that my Windows got a virus, and I had to download the antivirus application. Very relatable, very relatable. But yeah, it just goes to show you that Bill Gates is f***ing disgusting. Yeah. I read that. I got Microsoft. I was like, no, thank you. But I feel bad for Melinda Gates because she's a good woman, and and listen, maybe I might not be a fan of whatever elite work they do, but relatively speaking, in all of the players involved in this Epstein circle, Melinda Gates, I would say, had the best conscience, because out of all the people associated with Epstein, she was the only one who was like, I don't get a good vibe from him. Literally everybody else, Hillary Clinton was like, you go, Bill, have fun. Melania was like, right? But Melinda Gates was like, I don't know about that boy. And then she even divorced. She said that was a factor in her divorce over Bill Gates. So yeah. Because everybody asked themselves throughout this whole thing, how did these people not know this man was Satan himself? And then Melinda Gates was like, yeah, I could tell. It's like, were you the only f***ing one with a brain turned on? She broke things off with Bill Gates. And that took a lot of courage to get half his money. It did. But I will say, after this whole experience, I don't give a f*** what you say. I'm not taking his vaccines, okay? Because you can be like, but it's the cure for polio squared. That shit probably treats chlamydia too. I don't need that. The irony is that Bill Gates asked Epstein to give her antibiotics. And antibiotics are used when bad bacteria takes over your body, because our body is filled with good bacteria. It's mostly good bacteria, but sometimes the bad bacteria takes over and makes our good bacteria unable to function. And sometimes the bad bacteria spreads so much that it's everywhere, and you need to take the antibiotics to get rid of it. And so that's why I'm saying I think we're at the point where our government needs some fucking antibiotics. Thank you. But I get that it's scary to a lot of people. A lot of people are legit scared. I get it. The evil people, they're our government's filled with them. I as somebody who's been paying attention to Palestine for decades, I will say it's not news, my friends. It's not news. And a lot of people have suffered with this whole Epstein scandal. And we, the people, are suffering watching it. But I'm telling you, this is your time to f***ing speak up and change some things. Elect people who are not pedophiles. Elect people who are not going to serve foreign entities for interests that are not in we, the people's interests. Okay? And so that's why it is important. And so it's sad, it's depressing, but trust me, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? But I understand the feeling of being like, whoa, this everybody's involved. I hope that people see two things. That first of all, this goes beyond sexual deviancy and assault, which are all horrible things that we need to stop. That's one issue. The other issue is this is a bigger operation. That we can never let anything like this happen again or continue to happen. That's why we need to get rid of these people in power who are enabling this shit. And we can do that by voting, speaking up, speaking the truth. These things are so easy. Okay? On the other hand, we legitimately do need to stop pedophilia. And I feel like we're enabling it because we're not stopping it at the source. What is America's system for stopping pedophilia? Nothing. We have f***ing nothing. It's whenever somebody gets caught, we put them on a list. That's after they f***ing do something. We need to stop pedophilia before it happens. And it's a mentality, and we need to find it in people, and I know how you find it. Here's how we stop pedophilia. We all go down to the grocery store, and we watch the people buying their bananas green. You don't get it? Green bananas. They're not ready yet, but they still want them. These are the people we need to be stopping. Oh, I see some angry faces. I buy my bananas green. Well, you're a f***ing pedophile. You're a f***ing pedophile. Buy the bananas yellow like a regular adult. Or get with them with the brown spots if you like them mature. These are the ways to get bananas. A few months ago, I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I had high blood pressure. And he's like, you need to cut down on your sodium. And so I didn't realize that's just in everything, dude. It's in literally everything. Because at first I was like, oh, you know, just stuff that has a lot of salt in it. But then I started reading nutrition labels. You ever read nutrition labels? Yeah. That will ruin your f***ing life. As soon as you start reading nutrition labels, you'll see, like, the worst shit is in literally everything that has a label. You know what I mean? That's why I just I'll go pick an apple off the tree and be like, there's no label. I'm guessing it has 0 sodium. But as soon as you start reading the label, man, sodium is in literally everything. Even sweet shit is filled with sodium. On one hand, like, sodium is an element on the periodic table, but when you mix it with these chemicals, it becomes something that's harmful for your body, these chemical compounds. Chemistry, you guys remember chemistry? You know, and so what I'm saying is, just like the element on the periodic table, when you see a politician who's running for office and you think they might be a pedophile, just like the element on the periodic table, say nah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. I thank you so much for coming out to my show. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.